5 trolling motors sit on a steel workbench: a Haswing Cayman, a Minn Kota Terrova, a MotorGuide Tour Pro, a Lowrance Ghost, and a Garmin Force. Together, they represent about $12,000 of the most popular mid-market trolling motors money can buy. I spent 3 weeks buying these, hauling them into the shop, and sourcing the teardown tools to cut each one open the way a marine repair tech would. What nobody knew, including me when I started this project, was that 4 of these 5 motors are using materials that have no business being inside anything. Marketed as premium marine equipment, one of them had a foot pedal that isn't even waterproof. On a trolling motor. That goes in water. I wish I was joking. How does a $3,500 trolling motor end up with $15 nylon gears inside its steering housing? How does a motor with marine grade stamped on the box ship with 10-gauge lead wires that any weekend electrician would call undersized? And how does every single manufacturer in this category manage to avoid printing 2 simple words on their spec sheet? Pure copper. Those questions are why we're here today. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which motor earned that label and which 4 are living off reputation and marketing budgets. We're starting with the cheapest motor on the bench and working our way up. And I'll be honest, the surprises didn't come where I expected them. The Haswing Cayman sits at $749 for the base model, making it the budget darling of every bass fishing forum on the internet. Cut it open, and the first thing you notice is the wiring. The internal lead wires are thin, likely 12 to 14 gauge based on diameter, running to a brushed DC motor with permanent magnets bonded to the housing. The windings look copper at first glance, but the insulation coating on the coil wire was already showing signs of degradation on a motor with less than 3 years of documented use. A dry, flaking insulation coat on motor windings is a death sentence. That's not a matter of if the motor shorts internally, that's a matter of when. The gear housing on the Haswing lower unit is cast aluminum alloy, which actually surprised me. I expected plastic. The steering gears themselves, though, are a different story. The foot pedal micro switches sit completely exposed inside a housing that Haswing themselves apparently forgot to waterproof. Trolling Hub confirmed that the Haswing foot pedal is simply not designed to resist water on a product that lives on the deck of a boat, in the rain, surrounded by lake water. I personally think this is the single most inexcusable design failure in the entire trolling motor market, because it means every Haswing foot pedal is a ticking clock. And the warranty? Multiple boaters documented calling Haswing's customer service number and getting nothing but a full voicemail box. Their 2-year warranty exists on paper the same way a screen door exists on a submarine. Technically present, functionally useless. That was the $700 motor. You'd expect it to be rough. Now let's look at what $2,500 gets you with the brand your dad probably trusted. The Minn Kota Terrova is the most popular trolling motor in America. And when you cut one open, you can see exactly why they never lose a best trolling motor listicle. The external build quality is legitimately impressive. Composite shaft with a lifetime warranty, clean wiring routing, a well-designed mounting bracket. The outside of this motor looks like $2,500 well spent. The inside tells a different story. The factory lead wires running from the battery connection to the motor are 10 AWG. For context, the bass fishing community almost universally recommends upgrading to 6 AWG tinned marine wire the day you install a Terrova. 10-gauge wire on a motor pulling 40 to 50 amps at full thrust is like running a garden hose to fight a house fire. It works, technically, but you're choking the system from day one, generating heat in the wire that accelerates every other failure mode. The steering mechanism is where I spent the most time, because this is the part Minn Kota never talks about in their marketing videos. Inside the steering housing sits a set of nylon worm gears. Nylon, in a $2,500 marine motor. Northland Marine sells the replacement kit for about $15, and they describe the nylon gear as designed to protect against damage to more critical parts. That's engineer speak for, we put a cheap part in here on purpose so it breaks first. It's a sacrificial design. The nylon gear strips before the $850 lower unit gets damaged. That's clever engineering, I'll give them that. But nobody tells you about it before you buy. Pay attention to this next detail because it explains everything about how Minn Kota markets versus how Minn Kota builds. Their website says every motor is designed, serviced, and manufactured by real American anglers in Mankato, Minnesota. Sounds great. Check the iPilot control board inside the head unit, and you'll find it was made in Taiwan. Check the component sourcing, and you'll find parts coming from China. The motor is assembled in Minnesota. That is not the same thing as being manufactured in Minnesota, and that distinction matters when you're paying a premium for what you think is an American-made product. The water sealing on the Terrova uses a multi-layer approach: 3 O-rings behind the prop, a lip seal on the prop shaft, and a chemical weld at the shaft-to-housing junction. The lip seal is the weak point. One trolling motor repair technician said most people replace the O-rings and never consider the shaft seal, which is actually where the majority of water gets into the housing. Once water gets past that lip seal and compromises the chemical weld, the entire shaft and lower unit assembly needs replacement. That is not a $20 O-ring fix. That is an $850 parts bill plus labor. And this is the motor that half the base boats in America are running right now. That was only round 1. The MotorGuide Tour Pro at roughly $2,000 should be the Terrova's biggest competitor. MotorGuide is owned by Brunswick, the same corporation that runs Mercury Marine, so you'd expect serious resources behind this product. The internal motor construction is similar to the Terrova. Permanent magnet brushed DC motor, copper commutator, carbon brushes. Factory lead wires are also 10 AWG. The housing build quality is solid, and the shaft construction is comparable. Where the Tour Pro falls apart, and I mean that almost literally, is in quality control and electronics. The MotorGuide Tour Pro was subject to a federal product safety recall because the anchor lock function could cause the motor to spin a full 180 degrees and engage at full power while you're standing at the bow. One bass boat owner on Bass Boat Central described the motor going crazy, turning back and forth and engaging wide open, nearly throwing him out of his boat. That's not a minor software glitch. That's a safety hazard that made it all the way through quality testing and into production. Cold solder joints were documented as a recurring quality control problem. The lower unit is essentially disposable because MotorGuide doesn't sell individual internal parts. When something inside the lower housing breaks, you buy the complete assembly for $300 to $800 depending on the model. And during the motherboard shortage following the recall, repair turnaround times stretched to 12 to 18 months. One owner on Bass Boat Central waited 6 months for a repair and declared it was the last MotorGuide product he'd ever buy. The water sealing uses an epoxy thread sealant at the shaft junction, but Hull Truth members documented units leaving the factory with uneven sealant application, meaning some motors were essentially shipped with a built-in leak from day one. I actually went back and reread that forum thread 3 times because I couldn't believe a Brunswick-backed product would have that kind of quality control issue. But the posts are there, the photos are there, and the repair invoices are there. And no, I'm not making that up. The Lowrance Ghost changes the conversation entirely because at $3,200 it's built on completely different technology. Brushless DC motor with rare earth neodymium magnets, direct drive with no gears between the motor and propeller, and fly-by-wire electronic steering that eliminates mechanical steering components altogether. On paper, this should be the best motor on the bench. Cut it open and the first thing you notice is that the lower unit housing is not aluminum. It appears to be a plastic composite material. Users on Bass Boat Central reported cracking the housing on stump impacts that would barely scratch a traditional aluminum lower unit. For a motor marketed to bass fishermen who spend their lives around submerged timber, that's a significant design choice. The head sensor is the Ghost's signature failure. Lowrance's own trolling motor specialist acknowledged it as a known issue and developed an updated version 2 sensor. But forum users report replacing that sensor multiple times. One Tackle Warehouse reviewer wrote that everyone who owns a Ghost knows the head sensors are a problem and described replacing his after roughly 2 months of use. The props are equally fragile, with owners reporting 3 to 5 replacements in 2 to 3 years at $51 each. The sealed, brushless design means there are no brushes to wear, no commutator to maintain, and no electromagnetic interference to degrade your sonar. Those are real advantages. The trade-off is that when something inside the sealed lower unit fails, you don't repair it. You replace the entire assembly as a single unit. One Bass Boat Central user described water intrusion that fried the control board, and Lowrance told him the entire lower unit needed replacement. Board-only repair was not an option. out of warranty, of course. And if that sounds bad, here's the kicker that still doesn't make sense. Lowrance is now owned by Brunswick Corporation, the same Brunswick that owns MotorGuide. They share a parent company, but the Lowrance Ghost has dramatically less service infrastructure than the MotorGuide line. One repair shop quit servicing the Ghost entirely. If you're still watching at this point, you're exactly the kind of person this channel exists for. You want the truth about what's inside the products the boating industry sells you, and you're not interested in sponsored reviews. Hit subscribe. I cover teardowns, cost breakdowns, and mechanical deep dives on boats and marine equipment every week. No brand deals, no dealer partnerships, just what's physically inside the box. Alright, so here's where things get interesting. Because the Garmin Force at $3,500 was the motor I expected to be the most overpriced unit on the bench. Garmin is an electronics company. They make fish finders and GPS units. Building a trolling motor seemed like a vanity project. I was wrong. The Garmin Force uses a brushless motor with direct drive, similar to the Ghost. But where the Ghost used a composite lower unit housing, the Force uses aluminum. The power wiring is heavier gauge. The O-ring seals at the shaft junction are properly seated with compression fittings, and the unit carries an IPX7 waterproof rating above the waterline with continuous immersion tolerance to 3 meters below. Garmin did something in June 2020 that none of the other manufacturers on this bench have ever done publicly. They issued a service alert identifying 3 specific early production problems: under-torqued power terminal nuts that could cause a fire hazard, coil cable compression issues, and motor shaft misalignment. They named the problems. They offered free repairs. They didn't hide it. That service alert is the single most honest piece of communication I've seen from any trolling motor manufacturer. Every other brand on this bench has known failure points that they refuse to acknowledge publicly. Minn Kota's nylon gears, MotorGuide's cold solder joints, Lowrance's head sensor, Haswing's non-waterproof pedal. All confirmed by repair techs and forum documentation, none acknowledged in any official manufacturer communication. A wired-to fish-quoted marine electronics installer who services all 5 brands confirmed that the Garmin Force needed the fewest repairs of any trolling motor he'd sold. That lines up with what I found inside the housing. Now, the Garmin Force is not perfect. The wireless foot pedal loses connection more than it should. Software updates through Active Captain have bricked working motors, and multiple pros advise against updating unless absolutely necessary. And the warranty has a catch that a lot of buyers miss. 3 years if a dealer installs it, but only 1 year if you install it yourself. That distinction can cost you 2 full years of coverage on a $3,500 purchase. Here's the part of this video I've been wanting to get to since we started: the copper math. Because when you cut these motors open and look at the actual material inside the coils, you need to understand how little copper you're actually buying. A trolling motor in this class contains somewhere between 1.5 and 3.5 pounds of copper in its windings. At current copper spot prices of around $5.90 per pound, that means the copper inside a $3,500 Garmin Force is worth roughly $9 to $21. The copper inside a $749 Haswing Cayman is worth maybe $6 to $12. Think about those numbers for a second. You're paying $2,500 for a Minn Kota Terrova. The raw copper content inside the motor is worth less than a large pizza. The markup from the value of the copper to the sticker price on the box exceeds 15,000%. Now obviously you're not just paying for copper. You're paying for electronics, GPS, engineering, warranty, and brand. But when these companies won't even confirm whether that copper is pure copper or copper-clad aluminum, a material that passes 30 to 40% less current, you have to ask what exactly that premium is buying you. I couldn't find a single major trolling motor manufacturer, not Minn Kota, not MotorGuide, not Garmin, not Lowrance, that explicitly states pure copper windings anywhere in their marketing materials or spec sheets. They describe winding size. They describe heat dissipation. They describe everything about the windings except the one detail that actually matters: the material. A proper test requires cutting into the winding wire itself, filing down the cross-section, and checking for a silver-colored aluminum core hiding beneath the copper surface. A resistance test with a basic multimeter would also flag copper-clad aluminum because it reads measurably higher resistance than pure copper at the same gauge. If you own any of these motors and have access to a dead one, do this test. film it, post it, because nobody in this industry is going to volunteer that information. The real question for you, the person watching this right now, is not which motor is the absolute best, it's which motor is the biggest lie for the money. And based on what's physically inside these 5 units, the answer is the Minn Kota Terrova. Not because it's the worst motor on this bench. The Haswing is objectively worse in almost every measurable way, but the Terrova is the motor that charges the highest premium for the widest gap between its marketing and its materials. Nylon steering gears, undersized lead wires, Taiwan-sourced electronics inside a Made in America story, and a 2-year warranty that's shorter than what MotorGuide and Lowrance offer for less money. The Terrova survives on reputation, not on what's inside the housing. If I had to put my own money on the bench today, the Garmin Force is the motor I'd bolt to my bow. Not because Garmin is some altruistic company that loves fishermen. They're a tech corporation chasing marine market share, but they built the motor with better materials, owned their manufacturing defects publicly, and their repair rate is the lowest in the category according to independent techs who actually service these things. The real question is not which trolling motor is the best. It's why, after decades of competition and billions in combined revenue, not a single manufacturer in this industry will print the words "pure copper" on their spec sheet. That silence should tell you everything you need to know. Anyway, that's that. YouTube thinks you'll like this video, so click it. And if you made it to the end, you already know more about what's inside your trolling motor than the guy at the dealership does.